Well, it's said that you shouldn't really fly when you have a cold. Fortunately, we're only flying a simulator, so it doesn't matter so much. Today, we'll be flying from Cessnock up to Port Macquarie. Weather down in Cessnock, not so great. Weather from Port Macquarie is a little bit better. If we're having a look at the weather here from Williamtown, which is just over the coast of Cessnock, we can see that it's okay but blowing dust with 9,000 metres of visibility. Showers of light rain scattered 4,000. And the wind. The wind here is 48 knots on the gusts. Sure, fortunately, it's not quite that bad here in Cessnock. But yeah, 48 knots. I reckon we could get a Piper Cherokee to get airborne with the parking brake set. Fortunately, down here in Cessnock, we're looking at a wind speed of something more like 10 knots. Cool. The other thing, today we are flying what is sometimes colloquially called the Worm. We'll be tracking from Cessnock up to East Greta and tracking along this lane UL 1600 feet, lane of entry, straight through the danger zone D589 Alpha. Passing Dungog, which I have once in the past accidentally called Dugong. We'll try not to do that again. And then flying past Stroud Road up to Gloucester. Yes, that said Gloucester like the English place. Not Gloucester, but Gloucester. And then up to Wiradjuri, which is a very Aborigine sounding name. Before we head along the Manning River to Taree. We're going to land at Taree. And once we leave Taree, we'll head on up to Port Macquarie. Pretty short hop there. I hope you guys are doing well. Certainly more well than I. With my stuffy nose. And there's a handkerchief for me to blow my unfortunate things out of. I will try to remember to mute my microphone anytime I need to sneeze. Or do. And yes, that is right, Ozspotter. We are indeed flying up to your home airport of Port Macquarie, as per your request, in fact. There was a time when I wasn't actually expected to put Port Macquarie into my trip, but here we are. Hi there to Rusty QA as well. Nice to have you on board and in the comment section. Yes, I do sound pretty cactus. Yeah, I got sick pretty much on Wednesday, and on Thursday it was not much better, and today it's been horrid. Look at that gate. It's a lovely gate. When you fly in a small aeroplane, there's no pressurization. And if you fly with sinuses as blocked as mine are, well, let's just say you're going to experience some pain because your ears will become blocked and you won't be able to unblock them. That's alright, shouldn't fly with a head cold because it's pretty bad for you. Get blocked up ears, all kinds of unfortunate stuff can happen. Barotrauma, that's a word. Can actually perforate your eardrums and actually do like physical damage to yourself. Especially on the descent. It's not too bad going up, but coming back down, my gosh, that's going to be bleeding ears time. Here we are with it's a Piper Cherokee, and we're going to jump on board and get our flaps sorted. There we go. Nothing else I need to do there. One thing I do want to check out is the... actually, we can do it from here, can't we? Cool. So one thing we need to do, we have an AWIS on a phone number. I have somehow managed to get my cables all tied up. There we go. It's a bit better. Heading up from Bankstown to Port Macquarie in an Airmed A828 Chieftain. I just want to check out what our altimeter and weather settings are, because that is showing nearly 700 feet altitude, and I reckon the Barrow is way down in the 900 somewhere. So listen to the ATIS. I'm going to go 2 410. There we are.
Automated Weather Information Service, Cessnock Airport. Time 09040 Zulu. Wind 270 degrees magnetic at 17 knots. Maximum 36 knots. Minimum 8 knots. Temperature 27. Dew point -5. QNH 09999 hectopascals. Rain
09999. And the wind is up at like 30 something knots, so this will be a bit of an interesting bumpy flight. With that said, it is time to do our walk around. So not too bad there. Hinge is fine. So is that one. Tie down is off. And the chocks are up. Checking in there. Yep. We are going to refuel in Taree today. Actually, we might even do it. Actually, no, Taree's easier because we don't get blown around by this wind. Taree's got like 10 knots, whereas this place has got 30 something knots. Looking in there, we have a very nice propeller. Nothing sitting inside the air vents. Another fuel drain, which is right here. Up the front, yep, not too bad. About half a tank, I reckon. Chocks are up. And Nick is doing the old Sydney, Melbourne to Brisbane. Okay, this is not Sydney to Brisbane. Or even worse, Sydney, Melbourne. Milk run every day, YOLO. Or YOLs. Milk run every day, you only live 7 times. That's looking good. Beautiful stabulator. Yep, that's cool. Throw all the stuff into the boot, lock it up, and in we get. It's really windy out there. Let's close the door. All the way closed. And bring the flaps up. Cool. Let's open this up for a sec. Cool. And looking for the old checklist. 3 strokes because we need to warm up the aeroplane. Close and secure cabin door. Control wheel lock is removed. Controls free and correct. I work for the contractors, not for the people that plan who gets what. That said, I've been looking at this the other day. Interesting website, nbnmtn.australiacast.cloudapp.azure.com, and you can have a look at literally every property in Australia. So here we are looking at Homebush. You can see that some places have FTTP. I'm very jealous with their 1000 Mbps. Everybody else has, is FTTC with the 80 to 100 Mbps. There's some HFC people with 100. FTBs with about 90. You got FTTN with 50 or 25 or less than 25. And there's one here that's like FTTN, no speed estimate. Good luck. But yeah, been interesting looking at that website. But I don't make the big decisions, I make the little decisions. Like if technician James gets to go to that property, or if it's going to be Bob. Altimeter 999. Set. Okay, elevator trim set for takeoff. Beacon on, and the rest of that looks good. Yeah, my internet was slow before I got in, man. I was looking at 0.8 megabit per second. Now I get about, on the uploads, about 25, maybe 30 sometimes, and on downloads about 75, 80. It's a bit better than less than 1. Flaps are down, cool, and we'll do the engine start. Brakes are in, carby heat is off, fuel selected at the fullest tank. That's the last tank, so it'll be left tank. And we'll turn this on, get the fuel pump in. Happy with that. Do some primer. Primer's locked. Mixture fully rich. Throttle cracked open. And we'll start it up. Who knows? The government has decided which bits get rolled out first. Some bits got rolled out in like 2008, and some have still not done. But at least according to our previous Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, the NBN will be finished by 2017. So you can look forward to having fast internet at least 2 years ago. Okay, looking outside the airplane, there's no one around apart from those dudes over there and on the other side of the fence, so we can start the engines. Clear prop. That's a good start. And there's 1000 RPM, going to turn on everything. Radio stacks in.
Traffic.
Someone's in the close by. Let's check the heading. Showing about 33,335. That's set. Okay, well, in town, wind is from the north, and so I'll be using runway 35. Get to runway 35, we need to taxi out via Bravo, Alpha 1, all the way down Alpha to Alpha 4. We don't need to cross the runway twice. That's not a worry. Let's have a look at our flight plan today. It is as follows. East Greta, EGT. And then we follow the worm all the way up to Stroud Road, SRO. Stroud Road, go to Gloucester, and then Wiradjuri. Gloucester is GCR. And Wiradjuri is WDU. Sorted. Just going to lean out a little bit in a sec. Quite happy there. From there we just go to Taree, YTRE. Good stuff. There's our map view. Zoom it out a touch. Someone's doing circuits. Roll back the map to the beginning of the worm. Now the worm is actually quite a difficult thing to follow. I meant to follow the railway track. Now it does actually go through some tunnels. Specifically there's one just out of Hilldale. There's another one just out of Dundalk. Right about there. There's another one going up towards Gloucester, but that's easier to follow because it widens out a bit there. We can get up to 2,500 after Dungog. Anyhow, we have a GPS to help us out, and we will go ahead and do the last bit of the checklist. Happy with that. So before takeoff, seats, belts, doors are closed, flight controls for incorrect, elevator trim is set, carburetor heat is off, fuel selector is at the fullest tank, just going to check that. Left tank and right tank, they're essentially the same. We might swap tanks just before we get to East Greta, and then we'll do it again after Strata Road. Righty, engine gauges are normal and flaps are up. I'm happy with that. We'll go ahead and taxi on out. Have the Cessnock Multicom selected. After that we'll go to probably Sydney Approach. Not that we need to talk to them. Traffic Cessnock Hotel Tango Mike is a Piper Cherokee, is at the north apron. We'll be taxiing to runway 35 via Bravo, crossing runway 35 and then down Alpha. Hotel Tango Mike. Okay, clock time 17 and we'll move out. Park and brake. All those aeroplanes that were here the other day are gone. Lucky them, they don't have to deal with this awful weather. The cloud layer should be about 4,000 feet, I do believe. Pipers just steer a little bit easier on the ground than the Cessna 172. You almost don't need to put the brakes on for the differential braking. Traffic Cessnock, Hotel Tango Mike is crossing a runway 35 at the far end. Taxi me, Bravo. 22.8 on the radio too. And monitoring both sides. Had a bit of a sleep this afternoon, only got up at about 6:30. Okay, I do quite like this route. The worm, it's a bit of a challenge with the kind of tight space that you have to navigate down. It's very visual, and the GPS can only help us so much. As you can probably tell, it's not a straight line. Even though the GPS is painting a straight line between East Greta and Stroud Road, we definitely can't just fly a straight line through there. Old Spotter has me up at 4 in the morning. That's the time I was up on Thursday and this morning, in fact. Nice and up with a stupid head cold. Cessnock came off course a bit there. You might want to track your runway. Managed to meet just in time there. Okay, we're going to do a run up in the run up bay. Yep, that's about right there. Brakes are on. Just be a sec. Winds in Sydney are indeed crazy. At 35, almost 40 knot gusts. Okay, mixture is fully rich. I'm going to close the window. I'll stay closed all day. Fuel pump is in. And let's get ourselves up to about 1800 RPM. There's 18 right about there. Good stuff. Drop one of the mags, that drops about 75. And the other one, pretty much the same. Carb heat drops at about 50. Now with the carb heat in, got to go to idle. This is the worst possible case scenario. Should sit about 600, maybe 550 at worst. At 600, it's pretty good. Up to 1000 we go. Good stuff. Gonna turn on the strobe. Everything else looks good before takeoff. You take off, seats, belts and doors closed. Shoulder strap is in. Flight control is cool. Elevator trim is set. Mixture is rich. Carb heat is off. Fuel selector, force tank. Electric fuel pump is on. Engine gauges are all in the green. Flaps are 0. And we can enter the runway. Brake is off. Inbound's about 800, just behind us somewhere. We'll enter. Traffic Cessnock, Hotel Tango Mike is entering runway 35, departure via the downwind. There's 35. Off we go. Knots, 65, there we are, climbing out. There's 80 knots for the cruise climb. $500. Depart by the base. Traffic Cessnock, Hotel Tango Mike is turning downwind runway 35. We'll be departing the field on climb to 2,500, currently passing 1,300. Hotel Tango Mike. A little bit of turbulence here. Pretty much climb unrestricted to 8,500 if you wanted to, but we do need to be down at 1,000. Was it 1,600 at Grita? Yeah, 1,600. A bit turbulent, so I might actually take 1,500 just because we'll need that extra 100 feet to kind of bounce up and down. Yeah, there's 2,000, look for 2.5, and we'll start to turn to the base. Traffic Cessnock Hotel Tango Mike is departing the field, leaving 2,200 on climb to 2,500. Hello there to Elijah H. Showdown. I put my mute on because I had to blow my nose, but apparently I didn't hit the button right. Anyway, we have Elijah H, Dan Hammond, and Nick Antonopoulos. Basically, I have to hit the microphone mute, otherwise you'll get to hear me sneeze and blow my nose and cough. You don't want that. But yeah, if I was to be this unwell in the real world, well, I am this well in the real world, but if this was a real world aeroplane, I would certainly not be flying it right about now, because given the current condition of my sinuses, I think my ears would be bleeding up at 2,500 feet. So yeah. So judicious use of the microphone mute. So blow my nose and sneeze and cough. How did I get sick? I just got a cold. Everybody at work is sick. I walked in on Monday. There were 4 people away on Monday, and some of the people that were there were coughing and sputtering. And then on Tuesday there were even more people away. And now I've got the cold. So there you go. Call it the work flu. Anyway, I do anticipate that tomorrow morning I'll be sleeping in till about maybe quarter to 10, jumping up for Friday night ops with the Boeing 747. And then at the end of the stream we'll be going back to bed and waking up sometime in the late afternoon for some chicken soup. That's my plan for tomorrow. Lots of sleep and lots of soup. We need to lose 1,000 feet in altitude before we get to East Greta. We also need to pick up a new frequency, don't we? No, we don't. Alright, cool. Just walk past on this one. Sydney approach isn't really that relevant to us at the moment. But we'll have a listen. 4.4. If it was Brisbane Centre, we'd be able to request a clearance via the lane of entry.
Roger, 5 runway heading climb 4,000. Runway heading climb 4,000.
Okay, there's 1,600. We can turn into East Greta right now. I'll continue that descent down to 1,500, where I want to be. Starting the turn, there we go.
Okay, G-Link 47 Delta, when ready, you can turn left heading 160. I'm pretty much now heading 160.
Now, if this guy was actually a Newcastle approach, then I'd probably say a broadcast like Newcastle approach, Hotel Tango Mike is at Piper Cherokee, 1,500 at East Greta, tracking the northbound lane of entry at East Greta.
Just 1393, you can turn left heading 060.
Which FNO route am I doing? I'm going to go into Worldport at Louisville as a UPS 747-8F. Alright, I'm happy with the speed right about now. I do want to remain below 1,600, not at 1,600. But where's that runway? That's is that it?
Qantas 1393, Sydney approach.
It's either the valley where it goes.
Approach, just 1393. Qantas 1393, just trying to get onto turn left heading 060.
Not quite in the middle of it, but we'll get there.
060, 1393.
No, we don't follow the pink line, we follow the blue line.
You can descend to 3,000.
We're too high when we need to descend.
Or that will descend to 3,000.
Just trimming nose down a little bit. They're going to hold back on it.
Well, stations, information to you line now, current for Sydney. Good news, wind is now at 270 degrees at 23 knots. temperature down to 13 and QNH 1005. Motion kilo.
Down this low we can lean it out a little bit, not much. That wind is really blasting in from over there, so I'm going to need to course correct visually to the left quite considerably.
Kilo 47 Delta, turn left heading 060. Kilo 47 Delta, I'm just guessing you went around.
That is the railway line that we're following, right there, right off the nose. Now it looks like our nose is pointed way over here, but we're actually travelling almost in the direction of where the post is. Almost in there. So our direction of travel is way off to the right there. Almost puts where we're going out of sight. That's on the wrong side of the lump. Need to stay below 1,600. If we enter, like if we're above 1,600, we technically have entered combat fast jet training airspace. Where F-18 Hornets live. You don't want to be there. Otherwise you might find yourself really up close and personal with an F-18 Hornet.
1393, that turn was just a little bit too late to keep that turn going around to 040 and reduce speed to 1090 indicated.
I must need to turn so that I can see where I'm going and then turn back so that you don't drift off to the left. That's actually quite annoying. And I'm going to set about 2350 RPM instead of 2400. Let's set it about there, 2350. Good.
And cautious 1393, I gave you distance down to 3000 feet. Please send 3000. But we already sent 3000 miles.
I do want to end up a little bit closer to the right hand side of the lane instead of the left. I'm going to drift it a little bit further up.
Good evening, Airmed 828 IFR Houston on the ground at Bankstown, request for clearance to Port Macquarie.
And the last station calling, just shoot, call upon again, thanks.
See how the lane just kind of meanders around, left to right, left to right.
Airmen 828, Sydney approach, g'day, Roger, stand and Qantas.
That is the road or the railway? Just checking, it is the railway.
160.
That's another difficult thing to keep an eye on, is that there's a road and a railway going up this valley. They don't necessarily follow the same track.
Mr. Williams.
And the defined track is the railway, not the road. Unfortunately, both in real life and in the sim, it's actually a lot easier to see the road than there's the railway. Because the railway is, two little bits of steel with ballast between them. Whereas the road is this big flat surface with lines painted on it that are white. So it's easy to see the big painted white lines, but not so easy to see essentially 2 or 3 centimetre thick pieces of metal drilled into the ground. And it's diesel railway, there's no overhead wires up here. So it's just rail.
Qantas 1393, keep that turn coming around 220. Innocent localizer runway 25. You'll clear the ILS approach. Report established.
Keep getting picked up, I think, by the wind.
Heading 220. Localizer and Dealing 47 Delta, turn left heading 330. 330,
Yep. The lines on the GPS aren't exactly as they are in the actual VTT. So it's got straight lines and we don't. So we're actually going to follow the railway line instead of the GPS. So we can safely ignore the GPS right about now, which also means that finding our way around Dundalk is actually going to be really tough. Because there's a little spot near Dundalk where the obvious place to go is also the wrong way to go. I think we're up the hill down now. So I'm going to turn in.
MN828, can't get your area QNH for Bankstown at the moment, but at Sydney it's QNH1005.
That's clearly road. But yeah, that's all done.
Yeah, we've got 1005 for Bankstown inmates.
That's a spot that I normally get lost at. So I'm a little bit worried that I might have actually got lost.
47 Delta, turn left heading to 70, and localise the runway.
Having a feeling that I got it right.
3000,
If that's a railway, and it is, good stuff. Now the railway just goes through that mountain, so it's gone up toward Hilldale, goes around the lake, and then goes through that mountain as a tunnel. That's what the... We're meant to be following the railway, and the railway is now underground.
Velocity 670, Sydney approach, good evening. Just your requesting it, mate. My flight plan's got through. We clearance to Canberra as well, please.
Technically I'm a little bit too far south.
Velocity 670, right now you're good to Canberra.
Probably acceptable. There it goes, there's the railway. Railway tunnel right there. Boom. We're now following an underground railway.
Velocity 670, cleared to Canberra. Right 2 flights, 1 departure.
And railway should pop out somewhere around like there. I think that might be it there.
023, and departures with you.
I can't see it yet, but it pops out of this hill somewhere.
Velocity 670.
Somewhere near the town. Might be up there somewhere. Yeah, I'm just going to follow the valley for a little while.
Qantas 1393, the wind is 270 degrees at 23 knots. Maintain, correction, disregard that speed, runway 25.
And the Dundalk Railway is...
runway 25.
Yeah, I think that's Dundalk now. Is that Dundalk?
Approach
That's all about. Walla Robber.
Section 011.
So what's my heading now? Yeah, it's still in the direction.
228, you're right, down to 5. You can climb and maintain 9000 tractor at Canberra, flight message.
I'm at 9000 tractor at Canberra, flight route
Is that the road? Yeah, that's the road. That's not the railway. Still feel like I might be going in the right direction. It's along there somewhere. Roughly in the right direction. And 133. You're getting there. Is that the railway? Nope, that's the road. No, I do see the railway next to the road.
Cubic 47 Delta.
Good stuff. We just need to be on the right hand side of the town.
You've got
Sydney approach, Papa Delta Charlie 72 is with you.
Yeah, that's Walla Rubber.
And
So after Walla Rubber, we'll go around this mountain and we'll kind of head back directly north towards Dundalk.
Kilo Charlie Lima Romeo.
There's the railway. I went a fair way without seeing the railway, but we've got it again.
Kilo Charlie Lima
I think we
Romeo,
flew
taxi
directly
calling
over it for a while.
unreadable. The second station calling. What was your call sign again?
Yeah, following the valley should be easy enough.
Kilo Charlie Lima Romeo, Roger, I've got you there. Just reading you probably about a 2 out of 5. Can you check your microphone? And that second station calling down. What was your call?
Sydney approach, Papa Delta Charlie 172 is 11 miles east of Plugger, flight level 30, inbound with Kilo. We'll be requesting vectors for RLS runway 25.
There we go. That'll be where the train station is, right about there.
And just that last station calling, just text me.
Yeah, the train line kind of
Yeah,
tracks along. And then it'll eventually turn up northbound again. Yeah, back to northbound now.
Papa Delta Charlie 172.
Papa Delta Charlie 172.
Papa Delta Charlie 172, affirmative.
Got it.
Now 5 miles east of Plugger at flight level 320, inbound with Kilo, requesting vectors for ILS runway 25.
So Dundalk, we need to turn almost due east.
Papa Delta Charlie.
I think that's about now.
Roger, you're still well outside my airspace. When you're approximately 45 miles from the airground, you can call me again.
Yep, there it is.
Expect vectors for runway 2.
So I need to go over this hill.
Papa Delta Charlie 172, Roger, I'll call you shortly.
There's the railway. There's the big turn it does, and it's going to move up there. It's going to go underground again through this hill.
Qantas 1393, no delay vacating, thanks, vacate to the launch.
Got it. Very wiggly lines. That's true to life. It's quite a wiggly line.
Getting forward, 27 Delta, still showing 27023.
Okay, it's about underground right under us right now. I think it goes through that cutting, and then it just disappears under us. Doesn't pop out again until almost this
Sydney
road.
approach, helicopter Golf Echo Mike, a request VFR to the north.
Helicopter Golf Echo Mike, Rogers, stand by. Rank 47 Delta, wind change 260 at 24 knots.
Okay, we keep on tracking almost eastbound until we hit Stroud Road. If you don't turn north at Stroud Road, then you hit the mountain, because the mountain is higher than 1,600 feet. So if you want to stay at 1,600 feet, which we do up to Stroud Road, then yeah, you're going to have
request climb to flight level 130 if possible to weather.
turn. There's the railway, it's back with us again.
And then 828, you can climb to level 120.
So I think that's the two tunnels. The railway stays above ground now, which is good to know. You don't have to follow a railway that's underground inside a tunnel. And
Qantas
as well.
1393, please do not stop there on the right hand side. Keep moving.
See that the railway and the road are pretty much right next to each other right here, because there's really only one way to get through these hills. Whereas further back they split up quite a fair bit, because the road can do higher, like steeper inclines, and some of those valleys get a bit wider. But down here we have the railway right next to the road. Unfortunately the railway is not under the ground. There's Stroud Road, I have spotted it. Stroud Road is the name of the town, not the road, confusingly. Now that we're at Stroud Road, we can actually climb up to 2,500 feet. We might do now before we turn off that. Let's go. Okay, 24. Let's get full climb power. very bumpy. Very bumpy indeed. And that is the Gloucester River. So now we can actually start following the river, which is a little bit easier to spot than a railway. And we can do it at 2,500, which is not as close to the ground. The other good thing is that the valley kind of widens out a little bit, so you can kind of perceive a bit more. So everything improves from here on. Once again, the line actually follows the, I think it's the river this time. It's either the river or the, still the railway. It's still the railway. But the railway almost follows it. So it's a while ago. There's 2,500, we don't want to be higher than that. Coming up for about 2,400 RPM. There it is. Maybe 23,500. And with all this turbulence about, I think I'm going to sit concentrating around 2,400. Give us 100 feet of wiggle room since we're bouncing around so much. See the road and the railway, and the fact that the valley is pretty much straight. Just need to steer down it properly because we've got this massive wind. So 30 knots almost direct crosswind. I'm going to turn into that quite significantly. Put the nose a little bit left of where we need to be. Roughly there. I would imagine that we are tracking straight direct to where the post is covering the view a little bit, which is pretty annoying, but you know, what can you do when you got a 30 knot wind? Okay, now I can relax a little bit more. I'm not having to concentrate on flying and navigating so much. Wards River. So the Wards River, basically the river that heads up towards the Manning River, which goes out to Taree. We've got the township of Gloucester. There's a tiny little, essentially, parachute jump up there at Gloucester. Little airfield. I think it's a grass field. Nothing much there really. Up here you see the word Barrington, right there, Barrington. Now up here is a Barrington Tops. That's a Gloucester Tops, but there's a Barrington Tops. It's 5,171 feet tall. It's quite significant. Now, once upon a time, I think it was in the 90s, or might have been earlier, late 80s, there was a light aeroplane trying to fly down from Port Macquarie to Sydney, or might have been from Coffs Harbour to Sydney, and it was VFR, I think, and they were going to fly down to down the coastline at Anna Bay, right here, Treachery Head into Anna Bay in Northern Ireland, and down that VFR coastal lane, but Williamtown was not cooperating, they had military stuff going on. So they suggested that the aeroplane just fly what we did in reverse. Unfortunately, it was night time. They didn't really feel comfortable doing that. And so they actually picked up an IFR clearance to track one of the airways somewhere over Port Macquarie towards, would have been Calga, CAA. So they pick up this airway IFR in a little plane like this. I think it's a twin. And they climbed up outside the range, so sitting up at like flight levels, flight level 120 or something like that. And unfortunately, lost radar contact somewhere just around Barrington Tops. The aeroplane's never been seen ever again. Not even wreckage. The aeroplane just disappeared to the Barrington Tops. No one's seen it ever again. Can't see it on Google. There were even searches looking for it. Nothing found. So yeah, Barrington Tops crash. You might be able to see that on Google somewhere. I do remember Dick Smith talking about it quite a bit. He was going on one of his rants, saying that the RWF has too much airspace dedicated to them. They should have less, especially around Williamstown, which is the reason that we're sitting at 2,000 feet between mountains that go up to 5,171 feet. I guess there's the argument, does the RWF actually need all that airspace? Or could they do what they need to do with less? Or, if they do need that airspace, do they need it all the time? Do they need to have nighttime occupation of that airspace that prevents civilian aeroplanes flying over Gloucester at 5,000 feet or 10,000 feet? Questions to think about. Anyhow, there's the runway and the road, and there's a town. And that town, on my estimation, is Gloucester. So I've hit Gloucester. Actually, Gloucester's up there, I can see it. Cool. Gloucester's actually quite a large town. So that actually wasn't Gloucester. That's something like, what's this one? Stratford? Might be. Stratford Colliery? Stratford. Yeah, that's Stratford. Once again, that's a diesel operated locomotive. I think it's one of the I can't remember the name of the New South Wales trains, but Explorer trains. Basically 2-car rail, motor rail. Not a trip that I've done. That said, it's a pretty trip. I've done it in the plane, the actual Hotel Tango Mike, only as far as Stroud Road, and then we dropped over and entered controlled airspace. Yeah, that's Stratford. And then Gloucester up ahead, the large town. Now once we hit Gloucester, we can turn with the river to Wiradjuri, and then we turn with the river once again down the Manning River. Interesting thing to worry about, we have Dingo Peak just to the north of the river, so if we plough straight on through, then we end up with terrain issues. Speaking of terrain issues, I'm going to go ahead and climb up to our 2,400 again. Old Spotter HD has his E175 XBT train. I thought XBT went around the other way. Alright, that makes sense. Yeah, because that XBT has to go up to Brisbane, of course. But isn't there a local train that stops at all the weird places like Gloucester and Stratford and stuff? Sure, I've seen photos of like a 2-car train going up. Because XBT does what cities doesn't do. Obviously, he does Port Macquarie and Taree, but also does Coffs Harbour Casino, I think. Or was it just no? I don't know. I don't know my New South Wales railway geography very much. The E170 does have a circuit switch, I think. not on the throttle. It's in a really weird place. I think it's up on the MCP. You have to literally press some node, and instead of having the crossbars as your flight director, it's a little dot, and you follow the little dot. And if it's, or is it the other way around? No, it's the cross. So for the takeoff toga mode, you'll have the crossbars, and then once you go into climb mode, it becomes a little dot that you follow. That's the flight director. So if you're in toga mode, you'll know because you've got the crossbars. It's very strange way of playing. For some reason I can't get it to work in P3D version 4. I'll have to try it again. Loster. I wouldn't mind going up to do this thing. Maybe I'll do it on a road trip rather than a rail trip. But, I'm wondering what kind of interesting places exist up here in Dundalk and then in Gloucester. Is there any good shops? Any good places to eat? I don't know. Well, my memories for New South Wales are mostly south of here. Although I did have friends that lived up in Woolboolga, north of Cross Harbour. I went and visited there a few times. Yeah, I've never been in this little section of the world on the ground. I've only flown over it past Cherokee. That's what I wonder. Is there any cool, interesting shops down there? You can open up a window, so I can listen to that. Yeah, the Barrington Tops. Yeah, would indeed get snow. Probably got snow this winter, just a month ago. Found the river. I got snow at Macedon, which is half an hour drive from my house. And I was actually up there to see a friend of mine do a musical. She was singing in Rock of Ages with the mountain players. I went up there, and when we came out of the concert, the temperature was 1 degree Celsius, and that was at about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I left, and the next morning I woke up to pictures of where I'd just been the night before. The morning after, had snow on the ground because it got down to about -3. That's half an hour from Melbourne, half an hour from 4 minutes. Freaky stuff. Alright, I can see the terrain, so we're looking for the river here. Is that the river then? Did I miss the river? No, I didn't miss the river. That's just mountainous terrain that we need to get over to get to the river. I see. There's the river. Good thing about following rivers is they tend to be the lowest point. So if you stay over the river, you don't have to deal with too much terrain. Spotter passing over Willie. Good old Williamtown Air Force Base. I have actually been there on base before. I was in year 12, the year was about 1999. And I was escorted around the base by a Flight Sergeant Marsh, Swampy. See, torso to the east. met Steve Wildman, Flight Lieutenant Wild. It's an FA-18 Hornet pilot. Careers kind of thing. Pretty cool. And we went to Fighter World, but you know, you go to Fighter World Museum and then you go inside the actual airbase, and Fighter World Museum doesn't really matter much anymore, does it? Somewhere I have a VHS tape of me on a ladder holding a camera with a friend of mine sitting on a FA-18 Hornet asking Flight Lieutenant Wild some questions. Pretty sure I can find that, but I'm not exactly sure where it will be. But that footage exists. Nice river. Liking those little islands in them. Alright, I think our Confluence of Rivers is right up ahead. Just going to zoom in a touch. There's Widgery, or whatever that place's name is called. That railway is still tracking along. I can see the river moving up there and through that gap over there. So we'll continue along. How high can we get after that? That's going to be an 8,500 area, I reckon. Yep, it is 8,500. Cool. We'll move on up. Just outside the area. Let's go on and go flying. I'll be happier a little bit further away from that hill. The turbulence might be happier as well. I have not been up for aerobatics. That's another good thing that I should do one day. Do some high G kind of stuff. The most aerobatic thing I've ever done is a 2G turn. You know, by the Cherokee. So not much. Okay, we'll set at 3,500, which seems a nice logical altitude for an eastbound flight. Straight down the Manning River. RPM seems pretty good. That's Lena Peak. Up a little bit. Minus 1G for 60 seconds. Yeah. I'm sitting here with the cold and blocking the like sinuses and just imagining what a negative G feels like, and I'm not really a fan of the idea right now. can see the coastline. Go back to some easy flying. Alright, let's have a look at where this Taree place is. And we've got wind from, where is it? Taree weather. 350 at 14. Taree. CTF 118.1, runway 04 at 22. Yeah, what's the time currently? 3:05. Current time 10. 12 it swings around, but it's essentially northbound at the moment. The runway 04 will pop in downwind. So my suggestion would be to fly north of the township and then straight into a downer. Yeah, okay, that works. Good on 118.1. Come on. One set. Showing Taree multi. 3000. There's Taree Township itself. Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike is 8 miles to the west of the field at 3,000 feet on descent down to 1,500. Tracking northbound, will join on the downwind runway 04 Taree. Traffic, Hotel Tango Mike. And Hotel Tango Mike expects circuit time 17. Yeah, runway 04 is pointed that way. Yeah, the turbulence is going to kind of stick with us because of this massive wind, 25 knots, and even offshore, because the wind is coming from the west, which will be blowing over those mountains we see straight ahead. So even after we get halfway to Port Macquarie, it'll be pretty annoying if it's bouncing around. Seems that every weekend we have this kind of squirrely weather. And on the weekday flights, like on Wednesdays, it's fine. But come along to Friday and it's bouncing around all over the place. Happened last week, happened the week before that. Every Friday night flight is just... Hi there, Dan172. Yes, as you can probably tell, I was having a cold. I think I caught mine from work. Because everyone else at work is sick too. Anyway, it's a weekend, so I'm planning on spending lots of time in bed. stuff. I think we're far enough north. There's the field, got it in sight. A little bit too close actually. That'll be 3 miles. We'll stay outside of 3 miles. Just right on the thing. We'll kind of head slightly north of the field, then we'll drop into a downwind from the 3 mile. Automan Dan, hello from Newcastle. Sorry for bypassing your city, kind of. But we can't land at Williamstown Air Base in this thing. I'm sure there's ways to do it, because this thing lives at Richmond. Might ask Arjun about that. Could we take Hotel Tango Mike, the real version, to Williamstown? Hang out with the F-35s and F-18s. Piper Archer, Hotel Tango Mike, you're number 2 to a flight of FA-18 Hornets. Yeah, good stuff. And yeah, the winds are absolute hammering. We're looking at, what, 38 knot crosswinds with gusts up, down, like, from 8 knots up to 38. So 30 knot difference. So, yeah, not pleasant at all. Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike is turning at the 5 miles, 1,500. We'll transmit again on the downwind, runway 04. The old Fly Pelican and Sharp, Mrs. Taree. Sharp Airlines, yeah, they're not too bad. They're flying the metros, aren't they? What do Fly Pelican fly? Are those the Banditary E120 still, or is it something else? Did we overshoot? No, we didn't. We actually undershot quite a bit. On the 45. Not too bad. 1,000 feet. Checklist. Brakes are released. Undercarriage is fixed. Mixture is fully rich. You know what we haven't done. Let's swap the fuel tanks around. Right side. Right fuel tank. Seat and harnesses are secure. Jetstream 32. Sex for Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike is a Piper Cherokee on downwind, runway 04. There is a Williamstown Airport add-on. I think it's on flightsim.com. Nice airport with the grass runway right there for the gliders and stuff. Brilliant stuff. AA828 with his broadcast right there. On 118.1, very nice. Thank you, Ozspotter. Using the proper frequencies. That's what I like to see. Can't wait till we get our new voice codec in a couple of months, because then we'll be able to just talk to each other on the frequency. Me and Ozspotter, just like hit that, push the talk button, and off we go. That'll be fun. That looks about right for a base. Here we go. Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike is turning base, runway 04. Hello there, Aaron, how are you doing? go 80 knots. Flaps 2. Got a lot of tailwind right now, so we need to turn into the cross. Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike, turning final, runway 04. There's 500 feet, carburetor heat is off. Let's turn a little bit more into this wind. Birds. It's a crosswind and a half. Ah. More rudder, more rudder. Gosh. My foot fell off the rudder pedal for a bit. Okay, backtrack, I believe. Yep. And we'll fill up at the gas tanks here at Taree before we go up to Port Macquarie. Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike is backtracking at runway 04. Port Macquarie winds are pretty bad as well. Yeah, it's pretty much all of New South Wales right now. Looking at gusts of up to 30, 40 knots. Awful. I just saw my mum call me on my mobile phone and she's left a message. Let's see what it says. No, alright. I was literally talking to her about 120 seconds before I went live, so there's no need to talk to her again. There's our exit point. Strobe is off. Driver Taree, Hotel Tango Mike has vacated runway 04. Gonna sit here for a second. Aircraft parking notice. Pilots are required not to park aircraft in the regular public transport RPT public area designated by the yellow lines during scheduled RPT times. That's fair enough. What I'm looking for is where do you fill up an aeroplane here? Hi there, well, that's Epic. How are you? There it is. Right there. I can see it. Next to that dude that's got the broom. Right next to that aeroplane, Charlie Alfa Romeo, who's hogging the spot that I want. Can we get in there? Might be able to. Go on the grass over there. Ah, wait a second, there's another one over there. Go that second one. That's BP, I think. Let's go for it. These guys seem to be hogging the fuel bowser over here. But there's a second... Is that a fuel bowser? Yes, it is. Beautiful. Avgas. Beautiful, beautiful Avgas. Just what we need. No, we're not almost done. We're going off to Port Macquarie after this. We're just fueling up the aeroplane. And then we've got a very short flight, probably about 15 minutes up to Port Macquarie. Let's get ourselves turned around so we can face a wing. At the avgas thing. There we go, done. Quite a tight turn there. Yeah, looks good here. Brakes are set, up to 1000 RPM. And let's drop these. And that. Cool. Master switch is off. Let's get out. Lock first, yeah. Okay, time to get out and put some fuel in the aeroplane. There he's decided to go for his little spinny bin. What's been spinning? Something's spinning. That's the rudder pedal, I think. There we are. Not quite. Alright. So that's not what I expected. Cool. Okay, avgas time. Ah, that reel looks pretty easy to use. Mobile aviation. Just what we wanted. Up to the front of the airplane. Empty plane. There we go. Close the door so it doesn't get blown away. And here we go, filling up. And over to the other side. Good stuff. Pack it away. Pay for it. There we go. And then we'll walk around the tail of the airplane. Look at that biplane over there. That's hilarious. Door open. And hopefully, actually we need to do a fuel drain test, don't we? because we might have put water in there. Don't want that. How do you get the avatar to show up? Well, you grab your keyboard and you press the control key and hold it down. And you press the shift key and hold it down. And then you tap E and that happens. And then I guess you just use the plus and minus keys to zoom into him, and you use your WASD. So A makes him turn that way, D makes him turn that way, S makes him do a full that thing, and D is walking forwards. And if you press the Q key, that'll happen. If you press the E key, that'll happen. And if you grab your yoke and pull, and that happens. But if you push, he'll start spinning around like a crazy man. Control Shift E and you're back in the cockpit again. That only works on P3D. If you have FSX or that other sim, that won't work for you. But P3D, yep, all good. Cool. Looking in our fuel, I think we only have fuel. Beautiful stuff. And looking down there, we're just over the post. So we can't do any 2G turns or spins for a little while. Oil looks quite happy. It's just sitting on, was it 7 quarts? Might even put some more in there at some point over the weekend. Nose well looks fine. Prop is not damaged. Fuel drain. Everything there, it looks like fuel. Once again, just over the post, not too bad. And everything in there is fuel. And we're back in. Haven't used X-Plane. It's a bit of a nerd sim though, isn't it? It's like the hipster sim. Anyway, when they get a MD11 in there, I'll be hipster simming. Let's look for the neutral, there it is. Checklists. Upon entering the cabin, weight and balance is fine. Close is secure and cabin doors good. Well, control lock wasn't ever installed. Controls free and correct. Just make sure we haven't broken anything while we're fueling up. They look pretty good. Good stuff. Okay, master switch. Check the fuel quantities coming up properly. Switch is in. Beautiful. Got 20 in each tank. And I think the right tank is ever so slightly more than the other one. So I'll leave it in the right tank. Elevator trim set. Beacon goes on. Master switch. Yep. Fuel pump. Fuel pump's working fine. Primer, we don't need it because the engine's still warm. Mixture fully rich, throttle cracked. Parking brake is set. Area clear, ignition, gears in. Nav lights are on. Altimeter looks fine, and a radio master there. Cool. Looking outside the aeroplane, everything is clear. There's a car straight ahead, but that looks fine. Clear prop. There's one happy engine. It's really windy out there, so let's close the window. Switch is in. Right, I'm going to be departing runway 04, so it's straight out via the taxiway. Going into Port Macquarie, probably the same, runway 03, and all the way to the end, so that's brilliant. The route is, there it is, it's pretty much straight up the coast. Cool. Continue, and I might even chuck in the destination just because of the heck of it. YPMQ. Procedure, approach, 03, visual, there it is. Load it up, done, maps in. I did not see the new rotate MD11 screenshots this morning. I'll need to have a look. I'm in the Facebook group, so I'm assuming it's in there. Cool. There's a Cessna 182. Very similar paint scheme to the one that I might be flying later on in this trip in a few weeks' time. Cool. Gonna go ahead and lean it out and we'll move over to taxiway. Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike is a Piper Archer Cherokee. Taxiing out to runway 04. Hotel Tango Mike. Couple of details need to do there. Cool. Parking brake is released. I'm not using add-on software for the zoom in. I'm using the spacebar, except I've mapped the spacebar to one of my keys on the yoke. So I just use the mouse wheel and the mouse. It's much easier than even Chaseplane. I've got Chaseplane, I've purchased it, I installed it, I hated it, and I uninstalled it. Alright, I'm going to stick my tail over there near the windsock, and then we'll do a couple of run-ups. All the way around, so I'm not blasting that. Is that another Piper? Yes, it is. Looks like a arrow. Thousand RPM, brakes are in, make sure it's fully rich. Let's see how this engine handles now. There's 18. Yep, I haven't fouled anything. Beautiful stuff. There's the carby heat, there's idle power. Sitting at 600, pretty happy with that. Up we go. Traffic Taree, Hotel Tango Mike is a Piper Cherokee. We are outbound runway 04. Straight ahead departure, Hotel Tango Mike. Runway 224. No need to backtrack, I'll just run. Fuel pump is in. Strobe light is on. Off we go. Got a boot full of rudder. Off we go. Don't know how I'm going to get deflection on that, but CDI should be on GPS. So yeah, just flying up to 2,500. Might be up there long. We're only 30 miles now. So at the o'clock it'll be about 2018, 19. What the heck happened there? You end up in the cloud. Weird. About 18 minutes, maybe 15 minutes till we were in the circuit zone. That's pretty much a straight in approach. There's the white line for the approach now. So. Jeff Taree, Herzl Tango Mike is passing 1,500 on the climb, tracking direct northbound to Port Macquarie. Have a look, Mike. FS Elite. Thanks for that. I'll take a look. Not really into the pretty shots, but I do remember seeing all the MD-11 shots of the fuel system, which looked pretty good. This is awful weather again. What's going on here? It's like fog. Back to an almost IFR condition. Should we climb through it or should I descend? Should descend. I'll hug the coastline for the moment. I know there's mountains out there somewhere. I can't see the things. Just hug the shoreline. Should be right. Blown dust, that's what it was. This is blown dust down to 4,000 meters. 4,000 meter visibility in dust. We've got a dust storm out there. It looks like fog in the sim, but it's actually dust. At least according to the weather reports. Where was it? Here, there's a Specie, wasn't there? Specie auto. Blowing dust, 4,000, prop 40. And that's the current range of times, so the prop 40's happened, hasn't it? It's cav okay, but blown dust. That's horrible. Gonna be at 1,500, and I just need to go off the shore. Can't be hanging around these mountains out there. Means we won't do a straight approach to Port Macquarie. We'll join from the north of Port Macquarie and then we'll do a proper left-hand downwind circuit. Yay, we can see again. Anybody know what that feature is? I'm looking for it. Ah, that'd be Cowley Head. Good stuff. Cowley Head. So trucking up to Cowley Head. It's 25 miles out from Port Macquarie. If you're wondering why I spent so much time thinking about the word Port Macquarie, it's because I keep on getting Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour mixed up. Don't know why, but in my head they're the same place. Oh no, they're not the same place. I've been to both of them. Real well. Yeah. My head doesn't want to separate the two. Okay, with all this blown dust around, I might have to stay down low. Yeah, try to get to 1500. That might be better than 1000. Hi there to Jason McLennan. How are you doing? Lots of turbulence, just bouncing around. Wind sitting at 22 knots-ish, kind of bouncing around as well. Dust storm blowing up some dust. There's that hill that I turned off the shore to avoid. Now this is all one big CTAP. Taree, Port Macquarie, Camden Haven, Dexfield Park. Is there anyone else? Yeah, there's a motor glider field there and hang gliders there. Oh, what's that one down there? Camden? No, that's Camden Haven. That's and the lakes. So yeah, one CTAP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess you'd say 6 airfields. And 2 of those airfields have RPT operations, including Port Macquarie, which has Hornesley flying Dash 8 today. Hello to Lachlan, how are you doing? We're doing okay for having a cold, flying through this massive turbulence, which is bouncing everywhere, and dust storm. Really? Anthony Hubert, eh? What's Anthony famous for? I don't know. Up and driving Formula 2 cars. Okay, another headland coming up. That would be Camden Haven. Can't see that. Camden Haven right in there. Top. I'm staying offshore because I'm not trusting these hills that I can't really see in this dust storm. But if we stay offshore, then we'll be happy. In 19 miles. Haven itself. Quite a pretty feature, that one. It's been a very long time since I drove the Pacific Highway this far north. And over dust. Right, we'll stick to the coastline around this hill, and then we might even start moving inland for Australian approach runway 03. There's the Lakes airfield down there somewhere. Can't see it. Not sure if it's even there in the sim. Haven down there. There's the Pacific Highway. Track it up there. Dual carriageway. Very nice. So 2000 for a bit. Get over this hill. Out. Yeah, I think we'll do this rated. Estimate is on the hour. Cool. So it's about 8 minutes to landing. Very nice lakes up here. Lake Cathy. Cute. I think that's Quinny Lake over there. Traffic Port Macquarie, Hotel Tango Mike is a Papa Cherokee at 1,900 feet on set 1,500. We're joining for a straight-in approach runway 03. Estimate arrival time 00 on the hour. Hotel Tango Mike. Type and fly. Done. Track up to intercept the Pacific Highway. Leave these coastal towns alone. Is that Bonny Hills? I reckon it is, yeah. Lake Cathy just to the north of that. Then there's an aerobatic area. It's outside of that lighthouse. That's a lighthouse with a 20-second flash. FL4. Don't know what that means, but I do know 20-second flash when I see it. There's Port Macquarie with a CTAF and an NDB on 395. Probably tune that in if you want to. So 395. Set. And there's the NDB there. Care of the Pacific Highway, which has got dual carriageway in this area. You see a big truck driving down there. It's our overnight destination for today's flights, and we'll pick it up again on Sunday, heading out towards Tamworth and then Armidale. Then on Monday, we'll be flying to Milk Run. And on Wednesday, we'll go out of Armidale down to Port Macquarie and South Grafton. And on Friday next week, we will fly from South Grafton up to Ballina, then to Casino. And on Sunday, 2 weeks, the big GA event in Australia with the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast and Archerfield. We're on the straight in. Traffic, Port Macquarie, Hotel Tango Mike, Hyper Archer is on a straight in approach, runway 03 at 1,000 feet. Estimated touchdown at time 01. Hotel Tango Mike. Alright, landing checks. Brakes are released. Undercarriage is fixed. Mixer is fully rich. Yeah, we'll leave it as it is. Fuel pump is on. Fuel is on the right tank. Seats and harnesses are secure. Just above the pappy, or just on the pappy actually. Still that crosswind coming in, so I'm going to need to point the nose a bit left. Carburetor heat is on. And I'm happy to deploy some flap 1. TCAS +3. Happy where we are. Don't need more flap yet. There's 80 knots. 500 feet, rest of the flaps, carburetor heat is off. It's like an airliner approach. I've just ruined it. Let's clean it up a bit. Much easier to land than the Cessna 172. RPM, leading it out. That's the NDB right there. We're going to exit on Charlie 1. I can see the yellow sign up there. Flaps retracted. Orbx Port Macquarie, Hotel Tango Mike is exiting the runway 03 on taxiway Bravo Charlie 1, Hotel Tango Mike. And we go straight ahead into the GA apron and we'll park on the grass. Next to these Cessnas. Charlie Alpha Romeo car. Cabin doors stop, turn some lights off. 1000 RPM, parking brake is set. There we go. Switches are off. Okay. What are you meant to be? Let's jump on out. Alrighty, let's put the wheel chocks on and tie it down. this one thing, because it's really so windy, you should really tie down the flight control so that it flap around in the wind. Now, this is hilarious when you put the control lock in this particular airplane, in this particular developer. Control locks. The control lock is actually just the seat belts. The seat belts attached to the controls. That's hilarious. Ah, that's nice of you to turn into a Cessna for me. Good stuff. Alright, so that's Hotel Tango Mike. This is Port Macquarie. Nice little airfield. Up in the kind of north coast of New South Wales. Central north coast? I don't know. It's past the central coast. The central coast is Gosford and Newcastle. So I guess it's the north coast. Although, there's plenty more north coast to go. So on Sunday we're heading out to Tamworth, which is the country music capital of Australia. They have the Tamworth Music Festival up there every January. And then we'll head over to Armidale. Other cities in this tour include yes, did it again. Coffs Harbour. And South Grafton. Anyhow, for the next couple of days, welcome to Port Macquarie. I hope you enjoyed the flights. I've been Musical Aviator with a little bit of a cold, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow, still with a bit of a cold. Hey chick, how you doing? Let's grab a rental car and hit the town, eh? Well, I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.